All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a story where family secrets don't just stay buried, they rot, and they turn into something genuinely supernatural. Our story takes us to a town called Birdwan, and into a darkness that's been waiting for years to bubble up to the surface.
So let's set the scene. Meet Momita. She's been married for 12 years and she's finally heading back to her childhood home. You can just imagine it, right? She's so excited, filled with nostalgia, just can't wait to see the family she's missed so much. But the home she's been dreaming of? Yeah, that's not the one that's waiting for her. And the whiplash here is just, wow, it's so jarring. Momita walks in expecting, big hugs and happy tears. But what she gets is the complete opposite. Her own father and brother. They don't greet her with joy. They greet her with this look of absolute terror in their eyes. And a really strange, chilling warning. And look, this wasn't some new thing. This fear, it was so deep, so real, that they had actually forbidden her from visiting for 5 whole years. Think about that. They kept her away from her own home. Something was definitely going on, and this big, dark mystery was about to burst wide open in the worst way possible. Okay, so now we get to the real heart of it all, the darkness behind that fear. The terrible truth finally comes out, told by Momita's sister-in-law. She's the one who lays it all bare. The family's unforgivable sin. The one single act that kicked off this whole curse. And this sequence of events it's just horrific. It starts with the joy of a new life, a pregnancy. But that joy turns to dread almost instantly. It all leads to this grotesque ritual in the middle of the night at a cremation ground of all places, and it's performed by a figure known as an Agori. And why? All because of this desperate, obsessive desire for a son. This is where the ghost story becomes something much, much more real. It connects to a true horror that exists in our world. This isn't just about a vengeful spirit. It's rooted in this deeply disturbing social issue, son preference. That's a problem all over the globe. It's a preference so strong that it can literally turn a family into the perpetrators of the most unimaginable crimes. And what was their justification? It's just chilling. They told themselves, we're not killing her, we're just sending her back so she can come back as a boy. Can you believe that? They weren't committing murder in their own minds. No, it was just a spiritual transaction. They twisted this absolutely horrific act into some warped, self-serving belief about reincarnation. So the family thought that was it. Story over. They got rid of the daughter they never wanted. But, of course, it was only the beginning. That unborn child, she did come back. But not as a son. She came back as a vengeful spirit. And she was absolutely determined to make them pay a terrible, terrible price. And the spirit's revenge just ramps up with terrifying speed. First, it's psychological stuff, seeing things in mirrors, hearing screams that aren't there. But then it gets physical. It leads to accidents, and then it crosses the ultimate line, the murder of the family's other daughter, their first niece. The family is understandably desperate. That's why they were so terrified of Momita coming home. Which, of course, brings us to the climax, Momita's return, the one thing her family had been trying to prevent for years. By coming home, she defies the spirit's warning, and she becomes the trigger for the family's final bloody self-destruction. And it happens almost instantly. As soon as the whole ugly truth is out in the open, the curse zeroes in on Momita. She's the last daughter left. She starts getting physically attacked by something no one can see, left with bruises from this invisible force. The spirit is starting to make good on its terrible promise. Then comes the confrontation, and it is direct and absolutely terrifying. The spirit possesses the sister-in-law, the mother of that unborn child, and uses her voice to speak directly to the family matriarch, Momita's mother. It just throws all of the hypocrisy, all of the cruelty right back in her face. And Momita's brother? He just has to stand there and watch in horror as his own wife, now a vessel for this vengeful spirit, unleashes all this fury. For him, seeing it all play out like this, the guilt just becomes too much. An absolutely unbearable weight. He's completely overwhelmed by his part in this whole monstrous act. He breaks down, makes this final tragic confession. And then he grabs a knife from a nearby table. In his mind, there's only one way out of the horror that he helped create. And then it happens. In one single horrific moment, 2 lives are just gone. The brother, eaten alive by his guilt, takes his own life. And in that very same instant, the spirit finishes what it started and kills Mamata. That chilling prophecy, written in blood, no daughter will remain in this house. It's finally come true. But you see, the story doesn't end there, with all that death. The original haunting, the one driven by the unborn child, that's over. But the tragedy, it just evolves. It transforms, leaving behind a new legacy of sorrow and a new kind of vengeance. And this is what's so fascinating. It's how one act of violence just creates another. The unborn spirit, well, she got her justice.